A team of warriors will need to overcome 3 dangerous challenges to conquer the Demon Destroyer weapon. Today we will recap the movie, The First Myth, from 2021. With the great wars of mankind, a heavenly warrior tried in every way to end this chaos, but was betrayed and eliminated by his own allies. Her sister swore revenge by enslaving all the people, convincing other gods to step into the middle of this chaos. Master Zia arrives at the war accompanied by his disciple Erlang and plans to destroy the celestial shield created by the goddesses to enslave humans. Amidst that dense fog, they are attacked by numerous flying blades that force Erlang to dodge, revealing Yun, the supreme leader of the gods. The master tries to reason with the woman about the chaos, but she declares that everyone must pay with their souls for her brother's elimination as she reveals the astrolabe that is controlling the fog barrier around the 3 of them. Erlang observes the object and rushes to attack the goddess, but his powers are no match for her, as he misses every attack and is soon overpowered by the supreme leader's blades, who defeats him without much effort. Zia manages to interfere and push the woman back temporarily, telling his disciple to break through the barrier as he will slow the deity down by facing her face to face. Erlang runs towards the huge astrolabe and launches himself directly at the magic, while Yun conjures a large amount of fireballs and launches them at the warrior, knocking him to the ground. The waves of fire quickly envelop Erlang and, like a whirlpool of energy, cause a powerful explosion. A short time later, the warrior awakens in an unknown room, and upon leaving, realizes that he is in a village, concluding that he was probably saved by the local inhabitants. Suddenly, the sky begins to darken and a woman dressed entirely in white stares into the crowd, in the midst of a ritual where several men wearing black robes and masks approach her. Here, the crucial point is that this girl is called Moon, and her soul is demanded as a sacrifice by the deities who enslaved the people. However, before she can get into the chariot, her brother, Lang, quickly pulls her along, refusing to make any more sacrifices on behalf of the deities. He launches himself into battle against the warriors of darkness, but the enemies begin to conjure their energies simultaneously, becoming a monstrous dragon that bursts into a furious roar toward the villagers, forcing everyone to flee the battle to save their lives in desperation. The colossal creature brutally attacks people, wreaking havoc by hurling them into the air. Amidst the chaos, Moon spots a young girl lying on the ground and runs to try to help her out of there, while the creature approaches menacingly. Before suffering a fatal blow, the creature is intercepted when Erlang lands a devastating punch to its face, throwing it backwards with incredible force. He stabs it in the chest, ending the fierce battle for good. The young woman rushes to express her gratitude to the warrior who rescued her, but the village leader informs her that it is premature to celebrate, for the goddess will surely seek revenge for the people having rejected the sacrifice. However, the elder promptly identifies the symbol on the young man's necklace as the same one used by the gods, leading him to believe that Erlang is a deity sent to help all people. Erlang immediately denies this claim, saying that his body is mortal, despite having celestial ancestry, and that he is only a demigod, without the power to become a deity completely. Nevertheless, the elder asks Erlang to help the village, revealing the image of the goddess who enslaves his people, and the warrior immediately recognizes the figure. Yun, the same adversary he faced in the skies long ago. Erlang promises the villagers that he will stop the rule of this malevolent goddess. However, before this, he must acquire the legendary weapon known as the Divine Exterminator, which is found in the worship tower, in order to have at least a chance against his opponent. Moon has also offered to accompany him on this journey, because she has the ability to see the demons in their true forms and wishes to repay Erlang for saving her life. Immediately, they set off toward the tower, and as they make their way through the forest, the young woman tries to get to know a little more about the warrior beside her, but Erlang refuses to say a word, maintaining his solitary warrior posture. Just when the young woman thought Erlang would not answer her, the warrior interrupts her and approaches her in a manner worthy of a romantic drama scene. Moon felt quite curious and imagined she would get a kiss, but Erlang holds her back and throws his weapon toward a tree, trapping with her spear the pursuer who was following them, who was actually just Lang. The girl is furious with her brother for following them in this way, but he insists that he met them by chance, although this statement quickly turns out to be a lie, because Lang is completely drunk and out of control. After a long journey with hours of walking, night finally falls and the group arrives at a restaurant in a secluded location. The establishment looks suspicious to everyone. They enter the building and see several people having dinner in the middle of the room. The group decides to choose a table and sit down, but soon they notice a woman who appears looking at them from the second floor, also attracting the men's attention by waving at them. The enigmatic woman approaches Erlang and somehow tries to win his trust by pouring him a drink, and Moon is clearly not at all pleased about this. However, cautiously, Erlang politely refuses the offer, as he knows he is being lured into a trap, and quickly grabs the woman's arm. The warrior warns everyone that everything in that room is probably a jutsu of illusion, as the customers repeat the same movements as if they were stuck in an infinite loop. The crazy man is even picking up the chicken thigh. This causes Moon to focus her energy to see past the woman and realize that she has no mouth, becoming shocked and desperate, as they realize she is a demon. The woman immediately flees to the second floor, and the restaurant returns to its true form of an ancient temple, filled with travelers' skeletons, revealing a spirit of a writing monk who furiously notes on his boards. The demon attacks Erlang and begins to attack him with its evil powers, while she easily dodges the attacks by flying into the spirit monk's planks. With no other choice, the warrior throws his spear, but the woman blocks and the spear ends up in the ceiling. The demon begins to charge all his energy, lifting the spirit plates that continued his writing into the air, forming an arsenal of thorns, and launches them like whirling projectiles, forcing Erlang to run for his life. She continues throwing her blades, causing him to endlessly dodge the flying thorns, but the warrior finally retrieves his weapon from the second floor, and prepares to attack once again. And this is when Moon can see something strange in the woman's hairpin, since one of the letters of the ideogram was missing, and realizes that this must be the secret that causes the demonic woman to be finally defeated. Lang then enters the battle and tries to help his teammate, however the evil force easily knocks the warrior out, giving Moon the chance she needed to get the hairpin off the demon woman's head. The demon counterattacks the girl, but Erlang rushes in just in time to block the projectiles using his aura, causing all the thorns to bounce off his energy shield, allowing Moon to take the clamp and write the end of the word, finally breaking the curse and stopping all her opponent's attacks. The team notices that the writer's spirit disappeared at the same instant, and the demon has its mouth back to its face again. Here we understand through her, that the woman was summoned by the writings of that studious spirit, since all he wanted was to understand what it really is to become a god. Through his passion, he ended up saying the wrong things, causing his own elimination and becoming a completely demonic and evil spirit. The demon takes a lotus lantern and gives it to Moon, and then breaks into a trance for magic, putting her aura into the lantern, promising that she will lead them toward the endearment tower. The next morning, they continue their journey through the forest, and reach a large valley and observe the tower on the horizon. They enter that huge temple and see a small demon sitting on the other side of the room, who tells them that they are going to play a fun game so that they can move on to the next room. The man snaps his fingers and bamboos begin to sprout from the ground, turning the place into a forest of bamboos with a dense fog, which puts everyone on alert. The demon explains that they must draw their swords still, or they will end up just like the many statues around them, petrified forever. He then goes full speed to touch them, forcing them to run away. Lang runs desperately, trying to make the fat man follow him and get away from the rest of the group. The little demon demonstrates surreal speed, leaving a trail like Alucard, but Erlang is able to save his companion in time, throwing the enemy away with the impact of his spear. They plan to trick the demon, and to do so Lang grabs the bamboo with his whip and swings it toward the enemy, but fails to grab the sword. This gives the demigod the chance to tie up his opponent by the feet, and hang him upside down, so that he can easily get his sword. Completing the first game, the portal opens behind the team, giving them the possibility to go to the next level, but the enemy breaks free of the ropes and attacks the warriors. This forces Lang to block the demon by holding onto it and unfortunately ends up turning to stone. There was nothing to be done. Moon was heartbroken to lose her brother, but they needed to move on. They make it to the next room by going through the portal. Erlang assures Moon that they can save his brother if they can find the God Destroyer. But it was time for the second challenge. A huge darkness begins to appear around the place, causing several crystals to form everywhere, revealing a woman whose name is the Demon of Mirrors. This time the game is that they must paint a picture of herself, claiming that if they draw her correctly, they can move on to the next room without any problems. Realizing that there must be some trap in this, Moon decides to use her abilities and looks at the woman with his active eye power, and quickly tells Erlang about the truth. They start sketching the drawings on the paper, and soon the woman pulls the drawing from their hands and realizes that they are drawing themselves for some reason. The demigod explains that the demon's true form is a mirror, and with that, they will have to draw their own reflections. The woman is furious because they can see through her illusions and have no choice but to open the passage to the next challenge. Erlang grabs the girl's hand and the two of them run towards the exit, as the temple has begun to crumble, but Moon is not able to pass through the portal in time and is trapped in the previous dimension, next to the shattering mirrors. The warrior desperately tries to pull her inside, but the girl tells him to let her go and continue the journey so he can get the weapon and save everyone who is dying for the mission. With no other choice, Erlang forces himself to look away and let go of his companion, causing Moon to disappear completely behind him. It was time for the third challenge. His opponent, a faceless warrior, is sitting on a throne and tells the demigod that he must win the fight so that he can obtain the Slayer of Gods. Realizing that the man only has the body of a mortal, the war demon allows him to use any of the legendary weapons in the temple to give him an advantage in this very unfair fight. The demigod discards his weapon and chooses Nizaz's spear, seeking to char the opponent with the flames of the end. However, the war demon dodges the attack with ease and throws the warrior backwards. This time, Erlang grabs what appears to be Wukong's staff and hurls a bolt of lightning at the enemy, but the opponent manages to hold the electric charge and reject it effortlessly, throwing the warrior to the ground. Realizing that he is running out of alternatives, the demigod begins to fire all the weapons he controls with his hands. However, the demon destroys them all with a single movement and again throws Erlang away without any problem. The faceless monster begins to laugh at the warrior for relying on the powers of other warriors' weapons and mocks him for trying to achieve divinity, saying that he should give up once and for all and accept his defeat. However, Erlang refuses to allow his friends to perish in vain and finally begins to accept his true identity, while wielding his own weapon and gathering all his courage to fight. He advances against the demon and pierces the entity's body with a single blow, transforming the creature into a spectral energy that merges into his weapon, altering its form like some sort of RPG curse. Now it is revealed that this was the true destroyer of the gods. It was never about a physical weapon, but about the courage of the warrior to release the true power from within and not be afraid of elimination. At that moment, Erlang hears a voice calling to him and realizes that Moon has managed to stay alive after the destruction of the last challenge, and they get emotional and hug each other, as they thought they would never see each other again. And Lang is also back. He was able to survive and managed to get a new, much more stylish fighting sword. The young woman proves to have acquired the power of the reflection demon, now being able to teleport anywhere she wants. In other words, each challenge provided a new skill to the three warriors as they completed the requirements. However, before they can celebrate, the tower begins to collapse and the group is forced to immediately escape the site before it becomes lifeless rubble. As soon as they manage to get out, the group realizes that the evil goddess is trying to take possession of all the magical weapons in the place, while devouring the entire tower. She thanks the warriors for helping her access the tower and giving her the chance to consume all the weapon's powers, and then disappears into the sky through a portal. This is when Moon uses her new abilities and the group is able to follow the goddess into another reality, and they begin to attack the evil deity using their newly acquired powers, but Erlang is pushed back easily by the woman's aura. She grabs Lang's face and smashes it against a wall. The demigod tries to launch a second attack, but they are obviously no match for such a powerful goddess and her flying blade. The team quickly recovers and they decide to combine their powers to defeat the entity, combining the spear attack with the transport portals, allowing them to target more defenseless areas of the demon and giving them the chance to defeat the goddess. But it wouldn't be that easy. She has uncommon power, and is able to break free and hit Erlang right in the chest, causing him to fly for meters and seriously injure himself, becoming almost debilitated. The goddess tries to end the battle by conjuring an immense sword against the demigod, but Moon manages to block the attack by using all her strength to protect her friend, conjuring portals that hold the sword in the heavens. No matter how hard she tries, the demon's aura is too strong and ends up breaking through the shield and fatally hitting Moon. Erlang holds her before her fall, and Moon's brother runs toward the evil goddess so that he can avenge his family, attacking the woman with all his might. Their energies collide, and the goddess continues to throw weapons at Lang, non-stop, managing to overpower him, and thrusting several magical swords through his body, eliminating the warrior instantly. Moon is also slowly dying in the demigod's arms, and says she wants him to admit if he has ever loved her. Erlang holds her hand and says that he has always loved her, from the first time they met, and Moon leaves in peace, knowing that she was loved when in life. Moon's body slowly crumbles in the wind, making Erlang feel a terrible pain in his heart at this sudden loss. After losing the person he loved, the demigod finally realizes that to be a god is to use all the power he possesses to protect those who are important in his life. Erlang begins to transform into a true god, and with this a flaming third eye opens on his forehead, giving him colossal power, able to summon his new legendary weapon from the heavens. The evil goddess begins to attack the warrior by throwing several of her weapons, but Erlang dodges them all like Goku in his higher instincts. The entity tries to conjure up all its powers and launches a whirlwind of blades against the god, but Erlang gets through the attack and gets closer and closer to the woman. He charges his forces and hits the spear into the ground, causing a massive shockwave that begins to shatter the entire battle arena and destroy the astrolabe that had been enslaving the humans for all this time. The entire temple disintegrates into rubble and Erlang flies toward the dragon orb and takes the magic item so that no one else can use it for evil, and can protect it for eternity. He falls into the ash haze and the other goddesses appear as well and form a trio of opponents, who begin to come together and transform into one powerful entity. Erlang looks the enemy right in the eye and moves directly toward the giant, and follows by the arm in order to get at the colossal creature's head. The Colossus tries to crush the warrior with its huge palm, but Erlang is dodging the onslaught and counterattacks by firing a laser from his third eye that destroys much of the statue, hurling his spears hard into the bizarre monster's chest. The huge creature shatters into pieces, releasing the goddesses who fall to the ground. Erlang finishes the fight with a super powerful legendary attack. However, his attack is blocked by an external force that repels his weapon. Then the master of the goddesses appears, who has arrived to interrupt the conflict, punishing his disciples, sending them to another dimension where they will stay until they are aware of the mistakes they have made. The elder thanks the deity for ending all this chaos, but warns him that he has responsibility for the well-being of mortals from now on. After all, he has become a god. After a while, Erlang goes to the moon's village, and put a talisman on the lotus lantern, remembering the girl he loved so much and promising to find her in the next life, where they can live together again. And this was the journey of the warrior Erlang. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.